It's time for another edition of SJHL Weekly here at the IKS Media Studios. I'm your host, Clark Munroe. We have a busy weekend to talk to you about. The Riders won the Grey Cup, but we're not talking about that today. Are we? Yes, we are. We'll talk about it a little bit. Not too much, though. We have 9 games to tell you about across the league over Friday and Saturday, so we'll get into that, recap what happened through those. We'll talk to you about the Players of the Week later on the show. We have a Movember Canada update for you, which is pretty awesome. And we're going to be joined by Flin Flon Bombers forward Joey Lees, as we have him joining us after they had a busy weekend up at the Whitney Forum. A couple of big wins for the Bombers, who have now changed the tides in the SJHL standings. So we'll talk to him about that. But first, let's thank our sponsors. We'll start with Cantera Seeds, Capital Auto Mall, Canalta Hotels, SGEU, Sask Lotteries, UPL, Chevrolet, Great Western, SaskTel, RBC, Saskatchewan Construction Safety Association, and Vaderstad, of course. And if you're watching on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitter, please make sure to hit the like button, hit the share button, the retweet button, comment in throughout the show. We want to hear from you. What do you want to talk about today? Is it the Grey Cup, or is it the actual games that were on the ice this weekend? Because there was a lot going on. And we want to hear what you want to talk about, your favorite teams, your favorite players. And joining me today is a special guest. And the reason he is special is it's because it's his birthday. Jamie Neugebauer, he came in today wearing a big old green Rough Rider sweater. Look at this.
Whoa.
Happy birthday, Nugsy.
Skipped eggs chairs, man. The Humboldt Broncos trainer.
Yep.
So comfortable.
Yeah.
I'd love to know where he got those chairs.
You deserve a nap.
Oh, thank you. That was a very nice graphic.
Yeah, the boys upstairs whipped it up for us.
That's nice.
Threw a nice little hat on there for you. And unfortunately, we don't have a booster juice for you like you had in that chair, but...
Well, I found out that booster juice isn't gluten-free, so...
Oh, no.
It's good that I don't drink booster juice
Are some
anymore.
of them gluten-free, or...?
Apparently, they definitely can't confirm that any of their drinks are gluten-free, but the ice cream that they use in it is actually not gluten-free. So,
you gotta be careful.
So I have often felt quite tired after drinking booster juices, which is supposed to be the opposite effect. So now I know, and actually, so it's good that we don't have a booster juice.
Well, your presents today, Nugsy, that I got you, they are gluten-free. So
thanks, Clark.
We got you some stuff that you can have. So happy birthday!
29
years old.
Thanks. Hey? Yeah, 29. Yeah, it's my what, 9th 29-year-old. Lee Moen, one of the billets there with the Weyburn Red Wings. He has Josh Carman, a noted member of Celiac Nation as well, and I saw he made him some naan bread, and that looked delicious too. And, so Lee's always telling me what he's making gluten-free for Josh Carman. Not only is Josh Carman one of the best defensemen in our league, he's also a beauty because he's a part of Celiac Nation.
There you go. Pretty awesome stuff. Now, as you can tell with Nugsy, I got it going on a little bit. I trimmed up the mustache a little bit. Nugsy's very much got it going on. We have a big Movember update for you. So last year, as we've been talking about throughout the fall here, we've raised over $21,000 across the league for Movember. This year, if we can throw up the graphic, we're over that, and we're barely halfway there. So we have $13,000 raised as of this morning. Wow. Yorkton really popped off, Nugsy. They are taking it and running with it. They really want that pizza party that we promised them, and hopefully we have a way of actually doing. But they want that trophy as well. Weyburn is right up there as well. They got a big donation, I think a $1,000 donation last week. So they're right up there. Melfort's been crushing it. Estevan's right up there. Humboldt and Melville both over $1,000 each. Warman with $850. Now, Notre Dame won last year, and they have a big carryover on the roster from last year in Warman. So I wouldn't be shocked if that Warman number really pops off before too long. And Kindersley's been doing some really great fundraising efforts as well. Now, I think the numbers at the bottom are actually different. I think it's actually updated since this. I think, what was the number, 13,053? I think we're at 13,153 now, as of right now. Actually, let me do a live update for you on the air, because we're live, so why not do a live update for you? Sounds about right. We're at 13,183, so that number on this graphic is already out of date, which is amazing. So keep it up. Go to ca.movember.com, and you can donate to your favorite team or the SJHL staff, Nugsy and myself. Jacob, who's just off camera, he's also participating, Commissioner Kyle, and Kelly Lewick, that makes up the SJHL staff group. So keep it up. It's going really, really well.
I just want to mention too, the L'Orange Ice Wolves are involved in the month as well. They're going to have a couple games where they're donating all the money, I believe, to cancer research
Yeah.
as well. So they're not doing Movember, but they're still taking the month
Yeah.
to do work. So nobody hammer L'Orange for not being on the board. They've just decided to do something different. And
They're
going
to raise a whole bunch of money in another way.
They're going to do it another way.
Yeah.
So we're going to mention them, and good job.
Yeah, shout out to L'Orange. Why don't we go ahead and show you the Saskatchewan's look back now as we enter what happened over the weekend. We'll talk to you about that. So the Saskatchewan's look back. We'll bring up the Elk Ridge scorecard. Of course, this is for Friday. Nipawin with a 3-0 shutout win over the defending champ Melfort Mustangs. Weyburn and Warman had a doubleheader this weekend. Weyburn got game 1, 5-4. Flin Flon, this was maybe one of the best games of the season so far. Flin Flon snuck out a 7-6 shootout victory over Humboldt. And then Kindersley, no surprise, took another game to overtime, took another game to a shootout. They got a 2-1 win over Estevan. And then on Saturday, you can see down there, Estevan got their revenge over Kindersley. The game was actually 7-4. Just a heads up there, it was 7-4. Battleford's got a 4-1 win over Nipawin. They're rolling right now, Nugsy. We'll talk about that in a minute. Warman got their revenge over Weyburn, 7-3. Flin Flon got another big win over the Humboldt Broncos with a 3-2 win. And then Melfort got back on the winning column with an 8-1 win over the L'Orange Ice Wolves. So why don't we have a look now, Nugsy, to talk about it all, or as much as we can. Let's go look at the headlines now. The number one headline is the Whitney Magic, and of course, that's the Flin Flon Bombers. They're going to be a big trend of today's show, obviously with our guest being Joey Lees a little bit later on today, but 2 big wins over a very formidable opponent in the Humboldt Broncos. And, you know, we talked about it for a couple weeks because we saw this kind of trend going on where Flin Flon, for some reason, wasn't winning games. All of a sudden, they're winning games again, Nugsy, and it usually helps when you're not on the road for almost an entire month of October and you're back at home at the Whitney Forum. Usually playing there helps them a little bit, wouldn't you say?
Well, yeah, I mean, you know, I talk about the crazy magic in the boards there. Mike Reagan has some sort of remote control that he controls the boards and the ice with. Of course, well, I shouldn't say I'm just kidding because it's entirely possible. Now, that being said, I did reach out to Mike after this game and I said, you know, was that the turning point of the season for the Bombers, that win? They had 3 different deficits. They were down by 3 a couple times in the game to the Humboldt Broncos, who a lot of us think, you know, could they be the best team in the league? It could be. It's arguable. But they found a way. You know, we should mention again, you know, obviously Nick Kotai is a good young goaltender. He did start this game, and Charlie Triss started the next one. But that being said, the Bombers did pelt the Broncos with pucks. It wasn't just one of those Whitney Forum Morse code moments we've talked about. You know what I'm talking about? Where it's like beep, 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 beep with the shot clock there in the Whitney. It's always a little bit nuts, but they find a way, the Bombers do, to win at the Whitney Forum more often than not. You know, the Broncos didn't like some of the calls. You know, the broadcasters, you know, Rob Hart and his color guy were mentioning that it was as animated as they've ever seen Braden Klamosko on the bench for the Broncos during, especially the second game, but this one as well. And yeah, look, there's definitely soul and character in this Flin Flon team. It's just the question, maybe with both teams, Clark, was whether there was enough just sort of pure offense. You know, obviously Humboldt has, you know, Jacob Streetsy, and his streak continues. Even though, you know, when I wrote my recap article, you know, he wasn't on that score sheet. I thought it had stopped at 17 games, or 16 games, pardon me, but it has been updated. He did get a point, by the way, in that first game. So his streak continues, and I can talk about, I'll talk about sort of some streaks and nugs and notes, but yeah, bottom line, Clark, you go up to the Whitney Forum, you know, even, you know, you got a point there for Humboldt. At least I'm sure they're going to take the positives. They're not happy that they, you know, had leads and couldn't hold them. But hey, it's fun up there and probably fun to be a Bomber right now. 6 in a row they've won, perfect in November.
Yeah. So, and big shout out to Matt Bradley, the goaltender.
Yeah.
He had a couple of big performances over the weekend. Yeah. And you saw him celebrating after that shootout win, doing the fist pump back to the bench.
He came in relief of Devin Peck.
Yeah. So a big weekend for Matt Bradley, a big weekend for the Flin Flon Bombers. And Nugsy, one thing I'm just, as I look at trends and as I look at numbers, you said they've won 6 in a row. They have a 7-game point streak going, which is big. This happened last year, right? They went through that little down spell at the beginning of the year, and we're all like, weird, this doesn't feel right. And then they went on like a, what was it, a 1,000,000-game win streak?
Yeah, well, they got Matthew Keeper. And,
it's a 20-something game win streak.
It all worked out.
So something that really stands out to me when I look at how these teams are performing, and now Flin Flon, of course, with the 7-game point streak, but they're 4th in the league in goals for. They're third in the league in goals against. So their goal differential is fantastic. They're playing so strong right now. And they've added a couple pieces throughout the year. I think of Sam Ward, for an example. And that's something that Mike Reagan always does. He always kind of tinkers and adds a really impactful piece like 10 games into the season, 20 games into the season. You know, he has done that traditionally in the last couple of years. And he likes to get his moves done as early as possible. And then maybe a big splash at the deadline. So that's still coming, obviously.
And speaking of one of those new moves, Daniel Morozov from the Victoria Royals, who looked terrific. I asked Mike, about him, how do you look in practice, etc. Before the game, he said, looks the part, but you got to see what he's like on the ice. But he is the tourism sass.
You want to play it right now?
So let's do it right now. Yeah. I love this goal. So let's watch the highlight of the week.
But Mounier got it. Feeds it back to Morozov. Morozov across the line. Brings the puck in deep. Morozov hangs on a nifty move. Morozov scores! Knocked down in front, going to put her in. Under he grabs the puck. Morozov's first goal in the SJHL. And he put on a couple nifty moves there. And he'll score. What a shot from Morozov, the 17-year-old sensation out of Coquitlam, BC.
There you go. Rob Hart with the beautiful call on that goal. And it was a puck on the string, and then from the ice gets the goal.
Maybe Kaiho Holowajczyk would have been called for a tripping penalty if he didn't score.
Yeah, if he didn't score, it was a power play.
He was falling over.
Yeah.
So Edges, stick handling in a phone booth, and then snipes on Charlie Tritt, not Devin, not Nekota. Again, Nekota is a great young goalie. Charlie Tritt is the best in our league.
Yeah.
And then he's falling and he snipes.
Yeah.
What a beautiful goal.
Nice introduction to the home fan base for sure. Let's bring up the headlines. We'll keep on moving on to the next headline here. As you can see, it's in chase of history. Nugsy, we're on the verge of history. It's not quite the history that you might think, though. Now, last week, if you're a real avid fan of our programming, on Thursday, I said jokingly to Nugsy that you should research the teams with the most overtime appearances and shootout appearances in the league history. You went back a ways. I don't know how far you went back, but you said, why don't you do it, Clark? I'm busy. And I'm like, no, I was just kind of joking, but he actually did it. Ask and I shall receive.
As best as I could, anyways. And so what I found was in the 2014-15 Battleford's North Stars went to overtime 21 times.
21. That's got to be the record.
21 times. That is unbelievable.
Yeah.
But the last, I guess we're in 2025, 6 years, and obviously there's the COVID year in there, but about half of the years, Kindersley Clipper teams have been the ones that have gone to overtime the most. So there's been a lot of hairy moments, I guess, at the former West Central Event Center, now the Inner Pipeline Arena there. But yeah, they're at 11 now. Through 21 games. So I think the pace is like 29 overtime games, which is absolutely crazy.
They're even buying into it, because on Twitter, they said, hey, guess what? We're going to overtime again. And they put a GIF on there that was really funny. Kindersley Clippers, let's show the highlights now for the game on Friday, I believe it was, the Clippers versus the Bruins. This one was the one that did put them at 11 that went into a shootout. Nugsy, the Kindersley Clippers, there was a bit of a controversy this morning. It's not really that big of a controversy, but the SJHL rankings, Kindersley is first place in our league right now, and 3 teams below them were on the rankings. Kindersley wasn't. And I don't know, a select people were a little bit upset by that and wondering why. But the SJHL rankings largely is based on a formula heavily formatted around win percentage and regulation wins specifically, I believe. So they're first place in our league. They've played more games than the 3 teams below them. They've actually played the most games in the league overall. They are first place, but 7 of their 29 points have come from overtime or shootout losses. So, I mean, it is what it is. And like you said a minute ago about Humboldt, maybe arguably Humboldt is considered maybe the best team in the league. They have 2 more wins than Kindersley, but they're 2 points behind. So, again, this is something we've talked about a few times, Nugsy. So I don't know if we need to dive in as much as we have, because we have 5 times already this season. But is this a thing that Kindersley should be concerned about, going to overtime this much? Or is this a thing that come March, they're going to look back and be like, I'm so pumped that we picked up those points early in the season, because now we're in X position in the standings because of these extra points?
Yeah, well, I mean, we'll only know, essentially it's home ice advantage in the first round or bust for this Kindersley team. They're as old and as heavy as a team as there is in the league.
Experienced. I wouldn't say old.
Well, sure. Well, they're experienced, but I mean, and I think given the talent they have, and I'm sure they would agree, they should be in the CJ rankings probably. But what do those even mean? I don't even know. I've been at this junior A game for a long time, and I still don't really know what it means. But yeah, I mean, if you look at pure sort of wins and losses, if you just count any kind of loss and any kind of win, they're actually 11-11.
Yeah.
They're actually 500.
Right.
So, they've left lots of points on the table. Lots of games that they went to overtime. They should have probably won in regulation.
Yeah, because even let's say they pick up half of the 7 or just over half, that's 15 wins that they could have had.
So if it helps you in the end, then you look back and say, great. If it's a thing that costs them home ice advantage,
right?
And I cost them a playoff spot, they'll probably make the playoffs with the roster that they have. They
are very strong.
But I'm sure they're frustrated. I was joking with their GM Ryan Gibson, which I'm one to do, and I was like, imagine you guys don't go to overtime at all the rest of the year now. Wouldn't that be fun? He's like, I would love that. So please just win every game the rest of the year. He says they have played like a few more games than everybody else too.
Yeah.
Is part of that. So not that I'm defending the CJ rankings, because again I think it's whatever. But this is a great Kindersley team. They've scored by far the most goals in the league.
By far.
11.
More than anyone else.
They've given up a good amount too, given who they are. So I think it's a focus thing. Hopefully they learn from it. They've got great players. They've got great leaders.
Yeah.
And again, we're kind of getting close to halfway. So hopefully the lessons that they need to learn, they figure it out.
They are 43 goals up on the 12th place team, which is a big gap at this point of the year.
They've been in a lot of games where it's bizarre. You talk about Brock Evans is an interesting case in point here for this Kindersley Clippers team. Just winning a ton of faceoffs. He's got 6 goals in the game, and he's got 4 shootout goals already. 4 shootout goals already. A whole year of 3 shootout goals, 2 shootout goals. That's usually pretty good. He's got 4 already. Good to have an ace like that. But they got some guys who got lots of practice too. Vanden Bilch and Avery Johnson, obviously really good as well in the shootout. So they're pretty good in the shootout, but they have 5 shootout losses. So it's bizarre.
For those screaming at us, why aren't you talking about Estevan? They beat Kindersley too. They're coming up. Just hang tight. Let's bring up the headlines. We'll keep moving on as we move to number 3, which is Shining. And no, it's not the horror movie from whatever year the Shining.
I was thinking Moana.
Okay,
I guess that's Shiny.
Shiny, right? Yeah, that's a good song too. I like that song.
Shiny.
Shout out to Moana. But we're talking about the North Stars. They're shining right now, and they've been winning some games. And the North Stars are such an interesting case study this year because I've talked about them several times where I really like their team, what they're doing. They got off to a weird start. They didn't play very many games at the start of the year. They're finally playing more games, and they're finally winning some games. And their leaders are really stepping up, Nugsy, on both ends of the ice. So what can you tell me about the Battleford's North Stars as we enter today? They are, where did I lose my page? They're sitting in 7th place right now, 1 point behind Estevan and Nipawin for 5th. But I feel like they're playing pretty solid right now. Won their last 2 games, 5 of their last 10, points in 8 of their last 10. What can you tell me about them?
Yeah, I mean, I think overall, and I said it when we were doing the season preview that, hey, Battleford's fans, show this team some patience. Connor Logan's brand new. They've had all sorts of coaches the last little while, but kudos to this core for keeping them extremely competitive. And I only really see positives. Clearly, Connor Logan isn't, here to be just patient, and he's here to try to win as much as possible right away here. And I think the fact that they have premium guys at the back end that they can play a lot, and Gavin Granger and Lincoln Fisher, obviously really helps if you have kind of a minute munching D-man that you feel really good about every time he's on the ice. Not everybody has that, and when you do, it's a great thing, and I've seen it before many teams do well. And obviously you can't rely on one guy, but big time shout out to Caden Serpa as well, and Nat Steele Bass as well. Those guys have been terrific in that. And getting Raiden Zacharias back, he's such an understated player when you watched him, with Melville over the years, and then now with Battleford, you're like, oh, is he even out there? And then you see on the score sheet he's got 2 goals and an assist. But to have a guy like that who's just productive, again, he was out for a long time. Now he's back. You got that piece. Alessio Nardelli finally, scores. I think he's having to deal with, a new situation too. He only was in one spot there in Lloyd for his whole junior career. So, he's adjusting to a new world too. So they get Zacharias back, they get Nardelli back to what he can do. Obviously, they have Kinetic in there. Hey, Battleford's has some pieces.
Yeah.
We talked about this before.
Yeah.
But kudos to that core, especially Gavin Granger for making them who they are.
And getting Zacharias back, I think, really helps that balance of that roster, because I think for a couple games there, teams are really keying in on that top line of Campbell, Kinetic, and Nardelli, or whoever was with them before Nardelli got there. And I feel like Zacharias coming in and just kind of giving them another weapon that just puts up points, like you said. I feel like that's such an important piece for that Battleford's roster, because teams that tend to have dominant top-heavy lines or defensive pairings, it's great. But if there's nothing below them, it's tough for them to do that time and time and time again. So having a guy like Zacharias really just balances it out. So I think that's a big piece, and they're going to be a team to watch for in the next month or so before Christmas. To keep an eye on the Battleford's North Stars. They've been one of the better teams over the last 10 or so games. As we move on, there is one more headline, and it's the 7-10 split. A lot of splits this weekend. A lot of teams winning one, losing one, which doesn't help a whole lot for any growth in the standings or movement in the standings, except for Flin Flon. Flin Flon loved it because they actually did move up in the standings. But a lot of splits. We'll start with Estevan, just because we already talked about Kindersley. But they had a really tight loss to Kindersley, and then, whoa, they opened up the floodgates on Saturday night.
Yeah, I mean, just a couple games there where goals were hard to come by, which is weird with the weapons that Estevan has. And, I think, you and I were there in Melville on Tuesday, and you just see the potential in, obviously Nathaniel Harvey and Lachlan Tedorenko to really make an impact or very quickly with a team that already, people probably just kind of circle Ryland Williams and Ewan Rennie and say, if we can shut these guys down, then we'll be okay. But that's not the case. There's some serious experience depth. I think Drew Kosher is not wanting his team to be kind of top heavy and too young behind it. He's trying to be blended and balanced throughout. So they finally got that explosion. Offense was a little bit harder to come by in the month of November. November's schedule hasn't been easy for Estevan. They've been on the road a lot against good teams, so there's that element to it too.
Tough,
but they came away with those 2 wins against Weyburn. Then they had trouble scoring against Melville and Kindersley, and then they exploded against Kindersley, and Kindersley will give up scoring chances too. So yeah, it's fun freewheeling hockey. They're an enjoyable team to watch. I don't think there's any concern, and they've got a whole bunch of games at home and not a terrible schedule the rest of November. So, to get through with the points that they have, I'm sure they're always wanting to win every night, but has not been a bad November for Estevan.
Another team that got a split this weekend in the Nipawin Hawks, Nugsy, a couple newcomers on that roster, putting up points in the first week with their new team. Brendan Olsen comes to mind as an example. But they had a big, kind of a message-sending 3-0 win over the Melfort Mustangs on Friday. But then we just talked about Battlefords. They came in on Saturday and smacked them in the mouth a little bit with a 4-1 win. What are your thoughts on Nipawin?
Well, I mean, first of all, Brendan Olsen is a perfect fit.
Great fit.
For them. A little physical guy, north-south, get up the wing. Be a little mean. I think Nipawin could have used a little nasty in their lineup, and Brendan can do that. As I talked about in the preview for Melville, I'm like, stay between the lines, between the whistles here, Brendan, but a little bit of personality. But yeah, I mean, again, we've seen some inconsistency with this Nipawin team. I think pieces of that is a team that is not yet used to winning on a regular basis. Right, last year we saw all the potential. Potential is great. But potential means you're not there yet.
Right.
And this team still has potential. They still can play, better hockey. And, they'll keep making moves. They brought in Hudson Gaynor. We talked about that too.
Yep.
But I think Olsen is such a perfect fit. But I'd just like to see Nipawin do the same thing, play the same way 2, 3, 4 games in a row. And that'll make them really scary. But they're still trying to figure that out.
The Warman Wolverines with an impressive split. I'm going to call it an impressive split because of how the 7-3 win on Saturday. Really great game for Warman and Nugsy. Is this Warman team maybe starting to find a little bit? Are they finding it?
Well, I mean, I think one thing is, and again, it's not just one guy, obviously, but to see Vinny Palmerine play and stay healthy for a stretch of time, knock on wood, I think is just enormous because, boy, does he look like a man against boys. It's not all about points with him. He just is dominant physically, even though he did look really bad gap on that goal right there. But otherwise,
really good timing
curse
on that.
of the comp. Thanks, guys, in the back. You really sewered me there. No, but
it's not their fault.
But obviously, the Weyburn Red Wings are a very good hockey team. And for the Warman Wolverines, look, they've been in a lot of games. You talk to people who actually physically have played against them. They work very hard. They're not easy to play against. It's just I talked about it on Warman broadcast in the second intermission that they just haven't gotten sort of the save that they've needed it when they've needed it from whoever's been in net. Hopefully, Tay Timmerman and Griffin Wright, whoever it is that they walk forward with, can keep making a big save. But they got it from Griffin Wright the second night especially. They played great, like probably the best period of the year in the third period on Friday in the game that they lost. They scored 3 goals and Oliver Nottingham hit the post.
Right.
It was just really good hockey from Warman. Fierson Lindorf was obviously a guy I'm super high on, and he was solid and steady at the Martinsville showcase, if not spectacular. But that's sort of his game, anyways. But yeah, I saying to Brett, like, hopefully this gives them some confidence and they can go on from here. Obviously, it doesn't get any easier with Flin Flon coming into town being as hot as they are, but getting a little bit more depth in, getting Kenyon Unger back on the Saturday, that's again a little bit more depth. Getting Corbin Allman in there, a little bit of offensive depth, a little bit of guys that can just put the puck in the net. And what else could we say, about Kane Kennedy? This team has struggled to score goals, but not Kane Kennedy. So
yeah, he's been
at least
all right.
he's there. He's the one kind of
well.
keeping them afloat, putting pucks in, especially with Hudson Kerr out for who knows how long. But it's good to see. It was good to see Warman play a complete 60 minutes.
Odds and ends, Nugsy. Anything else you want to cover before we move on?
Just these streaks. Just quickly here. Just looking at some of the longest point streaks over the last little while. So Streetsy's up to 17 games, 29 points, only one game this whole year. Jacob Streetsy without a point. That was game 2 against Warman at home. So there's that. But Lucas Schmid also 21 points over a 14-game point streak, and those are actually really good streaks, like really kind of historic streaks lately. Spencer Bell a couple years ago with Humboldt had a 14-gamer. Holden Dole had a 14-gamer. Conor McGrath had a 14-gamer. Those were season highs for those years. And we already have 2 guys who are over that. But Chance Petruik in 1920 had a 23-gamer. But Justin Ball, who was Chance Petruik's teammate at the U of S last year, 33-game streak in 18-19.
He was different.
In 62 points. Yeah, he was insane. And he's playing senior hockey in Dinsmore, so you can go watch him play.
Check it out.
Some senior. Check it out.
Yeah.
Justin Ball, he was good.
He was good.
Him and Carson Albrecht at North Dakota and Tanner Zentner.
It was wild.
That was an insane line,
yeah.
Oh, man.
Let's have a look at the league standings to wrap that segment up. The Kindersley Clippers, like we mentioned, they're first in the league right now with 29 points. 7 of those points have come from overtime losses or shootout losses. Humboldt, a couple fewer games played. 3 fewer, I should say, games played, 27 points. Weyburn with 26 points. They had, of course, a weekend split with Warman, so they kind of maintained their positioning. Flin Flon jumped up a couple spots with 2 wins over Humboldt, so they have 25 points. Nipawin and Estevan tied with 23. Battleford's with 22 in 7th place. Yorkton holding down that last playoff spot with 21 points. Melville with 19 in the 9 spot. Melfort with 18 and the fewest games played with L'Orange at 17 games played, but Melfort has 18 points right now in 10th. Warman in 11th with 12, and then L'Orange with 11 in 12th. Did I say that right? I feel like it was just the reverse there. And then in the division standings, to get our division sponsors in there, the Bungie division is still pretty crazy, and it could go a lot of ways. We had a really good chat after the game on Tuesday, the Estevan-Melville game. We were in Melville, Nugsy. We had a great chat with Doug Johnson after the game. And, there's a sense I felt in that room that's like, we're this close to popping off. We just haven't quite found it yet. As soon as we find that one little answer, we're right there, and they are right there. They're only a few points back of second in the division, really. Weyburn, of course, leading the way in the Bungie. The UPL, Flin Flon has now jumped Nipawin, who has led the division the entire season so far. Nipawin has hopped up, and they're in first place now. And then the Nutrien division, Kindersley still leads the way. Humboldt is trying to find their way up there, though. They're right there with 2 points back. Battleford's is creeping in there as well with 22 points. So there's the division standings. It's time for, I believe, Nugs and notes. So why don't we bring in little Noogsy?
It's news and notes.
We gotta get this song on a CD or something so you can play it in your car.
Yeah, there you go. Well,
Yeah.
it was in my house for a while there.
yeah.
I want to say, thank you to everybody in the chat there for all the happy birthday wishes, especially the parents of Jacob Leegee, Donna Leegee, and his grandpa Frank Leegee. Always so nice. Obviously, Jacob playing NCAA D1 at Army right now. He's played in about 4 games for Army. He was a great junior hound in 22-23. So thank you to everybody for the great messages. But the big trade I want to talk to you about, Clark.
Yep.
And it was interesting. I saw an interaction that you had about with a Melfort Mustangs fan. The biggest trade of the week for sure was, the rights of Drew Mushimansky going to Melfort for Owen Nelson, going to Battlefords. And someone was like, "Oh, we're getting guys that other teams don't really want." Blah blah blah. I'm like, I'd say Drew Mushimansky is more than that. And Melfort really has struggled to score this year, Clark. Only Larange has scored fewer goals than the Melfort Mustangs this year. They can keep pucks out. Trevor Blevins and his hybrid in zones, zone man system, zonal marking, and obviously Malaka and Kabelka, and they'll keep pucks out. It was whether they could score, and Drew Mushimansky, Clark, will help them score.
He's going to help. Yeah, the one thing that I wanted to mention is that comment was, we seem like we're getting scraps of other teams. But on top of that, Owen Nelson's also a really good hockey player. And Battlefords is going to really like Owen Nelson, I think, over the next couple of years. He's got a connection to the WHL, so I don't know how much that's going to play into the next couple of years for him. But he's a really good player. So this isn't some sort of we're just going to toss a PDF or a draft pick. This was a solid player in return for a very quality type of player. Drew Mushimansky had almost a point per game last year in the Manitoba League as an 18-year-old, which you just don't see that often.
He's played a bunch in the Western League too.
He had a full season with the Regina Pats in the WHL as well. And then he went over to the BCHL and was playing pretty good there as well. Just didn't have a spot, and he ended up coming back. He's a very quality player. And the one thing about Melfort, you mentioned the scoring, that maybe they just haven't quite found it yet. They've always had, since Trevor Blevins basically has been there, they are a very structured team, hard to score against, solid defensively, but they've always had, we talked about Justin Ball and Carson Albrecht earlier, they've always had a real dynamic piece that can create, and Drew Mushimansky is a guy that is a dynamic piece that can create. So give this one some time, because he obviously didn't score this weekend, but give him some time. I think he's going to fit in really, really well, and really, he could be that what's the catalyst for this offense to really start clicking. So keep an eye on it. I think personally, this is almost as impactful, and maybe I'm overstepping here, but I think this is almost as impactful of a trade as the Clay Sleva trade a couple years ago.
Well,
it just hasn't paid off
yet. The Sleva trade is still being felt, so I don't know about that. But there's that. So obviously, that was a trade. There were a couple other signings. Nikita Kulikov finally played for Larange. Not sure, what was going on there. I know the Humboldt Broncos are still working on another forward from the States who's there, but they're just trying to get the paperwork over the line. Oliver Phillips right away.
Yeah, wow.
Dominant, just 6'7". I don't know what people don't want. He's got skill and he's 6'7". It's crazy.
Centerman.
I think, great addition as well for Humboldt. So hey, and finally, the last thing I'll say is that Humboldt Flin Flon series was super cool.
Yeah.
If that is the finals, Mrs. Neugebauer probably won't love it too much because they're super far away, but it would be incredible because those two games were absolutely terrific. And Rob Hart, again, what more can you say about his broadcasting? And he was great.
And last year's playoff match between those two teams was really good too.
Every time they come together,
so
crazy.
Yeah, it would be great. Even just a first round or
any
second
kind of playoff round.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. But very good. Thank you, Noogsy, for Noogs and Notes. Let's hit a break because when we come back, we're going to be joined by Flin Flon Bombers forward Joey Lees. It's going to be a great chat. See you after the break.
The Price Beat Guarantee is back at Capital GMC in Regina. We will beat any price on any new vehicle from any competitor, or you get $500 cash guaranteed. The Price Beat Guarantee at Capital GMC in Regina.
At Vatterstad, we're partnering with North American farmers to create the perfect emergence. We're doing this with new and innovative tillage, planting, and seeding solutions, optimized for the field conditions that you face. and with industry-leading capacities to help you get the job done in short windows of time, so you can maximize yields. Vatterstad, we look forward to growing together.
Thanks, mister.
Every ticket you buy funds programs all across Saskatchewan, like sports. Buy your tickets today.
In the last decade, the construction industry has reduced injuries by 46%. That's as many injuries prevented that would fill several stadiums. Find out more at scsaonline.ca.
Feeling like your dreams are out of reach? RBC has programs and resources to help you open the door. With RBCX Music, RBC Training Ground, and RBC Scholarships, your idea of your highest potential happens here.
Original 16. Celebrate things done well.
All right, welcome back inside. Make sure if you're watching on Facebook or YouTube or Twitter, please make sure to hit the like button, hit the share button, and send in those comments, especially if you have questions for our guest. As we bring them in now, it is Flin Flon Bombers forward Joey Lees. Joey, thanks for joining us today. Ooh,
All right, you got to unmute yourself there, Chief. Maybe.
There we go. I think I hear him.
I think we got you, Joey. No.
We'll bring it down. Oh, I feel like we're hearing him. Maybe it's on a big delay or something, though, so we might need to get him to refresh.
Do we hear you, Joey? Maybe refresh.
Can you hear? I can hear you guys.
Oh, there we go.
I think we're good. I think we're good.
You had the mute button going there.
Something was going on. There you go, Joey.
There you go.
Thanks for having me
Mike
on.
always says that when we have Hardy on, he needs to set it up for him. I was about to say, we got to get Mike to help Joey out too here, or what?
No, he's got it handled. He's got it handled. Joey, thanks for joining us. A big weekend at the Whitney Forum for you guys. 2 big wins over a really strong Humboldt team. What can you tell us from the results this weekend?
Yeah, we showed a lot of resiliency. We were down a couple goals in both games, and we could have packed it in at any point, and we just stuck with it and found a way. So it's a big character win, and yeah, that's what we like to see.
Yeah, for sure. Now, again, from the outside, Joey, like you guys seem like you have a crazy start and then a rough go, and then you're back on track, and it just seems like these 3 kind of very distinct acts. Is that how you guys see it? And do you see some sort of turning point that has allowed this latest kind of 7-game run to happen?
Yeah, we had a pretty good start to the season through like preseason, and then carried on to the start of the year, and then we had a bad skid. I think it was 6 games, and then we just couldn't really put it together. We weren't playing terrible, but just couldn't really find bounces or whatever. But we found a way, and throughout these last however many games it's been, we've just been sticking with it from coming behind or whatever. We found a way to win tough games, and yeah, it's what we're looking for. We've shown a lot of character, and we got a really young group of guys, a lot of 18-year-olds, a couple 17-year-olds, but to see those guys pulling their weight and contributing it's nice.
Joey, this isn't, I'm going to say it's not necessarily new to you guys. You have a lot of carryover on the roster from last year, and you had a weird start to the year last year where you were out of a playoff spot for a little bit, and then you went on a tear as a team.
Yeah.
I can't remember the number. I think it was like 24, 25 games or something in a row.
Something like that.
How much did the veterans from last year pull from that in that little 6-game stretch? I'm not comparing it because it was very different, I think, the season last year to what happened. But I know you were on the road, so maybe that played into it a little bit. How much did the veterans from last year pull from what happened last year to this situation this year?
I'd say a lot. The veterans stuck with it, and when we found ourselves getting in that drought when we were kind of not playing our game or whatever, but we got back on track, and from last year, the young guys that were a part of it last year, they've learned, and we're just trying to teach the younger guys, like, you're going to go through skids and droughts throughout the year, and you just got to minimize them as much as you can. So I feel like we've done a pretty good job of recovering, getting out of that skid for the most part. And yeah, a lot of credits due to the veterans and young guys as well. Everyone's pulled their weight since then. So yeah, it's been pretty good.
Yeah, I got a little two-part question. One's a bit of a trivia question, Joey. How many games have you played for Flin Flon so far?
Oof. I would say maybe around the 150 mark, something like that.
179 games.
Dang.
So this is your.
Is that with playoffs?
With playoffs.
Maybe with playoffs?
I include playoffs.
That's the thing. He tripped you up on that.
I was including the playoffs. Well, fair enough. 179 is the answer. You're in your fourth year. And I got to ask you, I find the idea of pressure so interesting. Obviously, you're a Flin Flon boy, year after year, and we're not going to mince words. Like, to some degree, because we all love Mike Reagan, how can you not? Like, just year after year there of losing in the finals, like, our hearts just kind of broke a little bit. I know we don't cheer for anybody, but just how much Mike cares about the Flin Flon Bombers. And obviously you're a Flin Flon boy. Obviously your brother too was around too. Yeah. Just talk about pressure and playing in Flin Flon and wearing that jersey. How have you kind of handled it? Do you embrace it? Do you not think about it? What's your perspective on pressure?
Well, pressure's a privilege. Sorry. Pressure is a privilege. I don't know. I try not to think about it. Obviously, you can. I guess it goes through my head a little bit, but I just go out there and try to play my game, and it's what I dreamed of doing growing up and playing along. I played with Wyatt and Ryder growing up in minor hockey because they played up in age. But so playing with them is super special. And again, getting to play with my brother, who I never got to play with growing up, very special, and just a privilege to throw on that crest every day and, try and make the most out of it every single day.
So Nugsy mentioned how many games you've played with the Bombers, 179. That includes playoffs, obviously. But you started, as a ripe 17-year-old, and then each year your numbers have kind of gone up. Your time on the ice has gone up. Your games played have gone up. How have you embraced this new role now as a 20-year-old, Joey? This is your final year. This is your 20 bomb. How have you embraced this? Obviously, now you're over a point per game this season, producing very well. How have you embraced this role change going into this season?
Just trying to take pieces from every 20-year-old I've played with a lot of them. Just trying to get pieces out of their game and learning and trying to make the most of the opportunity. I mean, it's my last year and I want to win. That's all that's really going through my mind is I just want a ring on my finger and I want to bring it back to this town. And contributing, it's what I want to do. It's why, I don't know, I play the game. I love it. And, being here is super special. And, again, to put the puck in the net and do that job, I take pride in it. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. Could ask you 1,000 questions, Joey. Appreciate your time. I kind of mentioned it about this whole the pressure idea, but you mentioned there Ryder Muka and Wyatt Stinton, and yourself, and obviously Mike, and it's obviously such a magical community up there, in Flin Flon. Just talk about that camaraderie that you guys have, being I don't know how else to word it, being from so far away than kind of everywhere and everyone else, and kind of being, when new guys come, kind of to be the ambassadors and the first point of like, this is what Flin Flon's like, and just talk about how special it is to see those guys around that you grew up with and know, and I'm sure you were a rug rat, and Mike would see you around the rink running around, and now you're playing for him. But I guess just talk about that dynamic.
Yeah, it's special. Regs, there's a hockey school before the season that Regs has been putting on for almost as long as I've been alive. And now I was coaching it for the last 3 or 4 years, I think. And he always just brings up how I used to be one of the guys that wasn't paying attention, or he'd always have to put back in line or whatever. And now I'm helping him coach it. So it's pretty special to see that part. And then just with new guys, it's always, I would say, a pleasure to show them around the community. And we take them out to the Orange Toad, go for coffee almost every day, and just show them around. And yeah, it's pretty special to do.
Shout out Orange Toad. I had an Orange Toad toque and I lost it, and I was so sad. So I got to get a new one next time I'm up there. Just a quick follow-up. Obviously I'm unabashed in my fandom of Mike Reagan. I guess just talk about, what you've learned from him and what your perspective on, obviously, SJHL Coach of the Year, went to the NHL Coaches Clinic, to represent our league, and just so many things that he's done for the community and for the Bombers. Just talk about, playing for him and what it's like to play for Mike.
Yeah, Rags has given me a hard time, I guess, but it's his job, and I love it. It's awesome playing for him. He's done a lot for the community and has been here for so long. He knows everything. He knows the game so well. So it's a pleasure to play for him for sure.
The one thing that I always told Joey was that if a coach is hard on you, it means he sees a lot in you and he just wants you to be as good as you can be. So take that for what it is. The one thing I'm noticing, Joey, is you're a little bit clean on the upper lip, and I might be stealing one of Nugsy's. I might be stealing one of his rapid fire questions.
No, it's all good.
But I'm just wondering, from your perspective, top 3 mustaches on the Flin Flon Bombers. Who's got them this year? Who's rocking them?
Top 3? Well, definitely not me. They made me shave right before. I was prepping it out before, but they made me shave it. Top 3 right now, I would say Xavier Fauchon. I'd say 1.
French.
Radar Muka's up there. And then Stinto just painted his face, so it looks better now. But
cheater.
I guess I'll give it to him.
That's okay. With Movember, obviously anything we can do to make the awareness grow is fine. So Wyatt Stinton gets a pass for this one.
To be fair, I saw obviously both Hudson and Stinto walking around at the showcase, and I'm like, who are these little kids? I'm sure you think that way all the time, too, Joe. Who are these little boys? And then they play, and they're such warriors.
They're
good, but then you're like off the ice, you're like, who are these boys?
Baby-faced assassins.
Yeah, they're baby-faced. Yeah, 100%. All right, rapid fire, Joe. You know the rules. You know how it goes. Here we go. I was joking with Mike before the season that you did your old thing. You brought in a bunch of French dudes, and he's done that this year. Kind of got away from it the last couple. Maybe there's some good things in the offing because now you guys all your French guys again. But have you learned any more French? Maybe 1 or 2 French words that you've learned from Fauchon, Delisle, and the list goes on. Meunier. That you can repeat online?
No, I'm going to be honest. Not a big French guy.
Fair enough. All right. What is your chicken chef order?
Chicken chef order, I'll go like the spicy chicken burger.
There you go. Is it true? Rob Hart's worked there before, right? Sometimes. Is that right? Or is he just delivering pizza? I think he's delivered pizza. Anyway,
I couldn't tell you.
Fair enough.
I couldn't tell you.
Fair enough. Okay, Orange Toad, you mentioned it, the greatest little coffee shop in Flin Flon, to which I say are there other little coffee shops in Flin Flon? But it's a wonderful place. People are wonderful work there. Always go there if you're in Flin Flon. What's your Orange Toad order?
Orange Toad order? I usually get a white hot chocolate with like a Earl Grey tea bag.
Ooh.
And then usually a piece of cheesecake. It's always pretty good there. So yeah.
Yeah, Hunks told me about
white hot chocolate with
hot chocolate with Earl Grey. Hunks told me that was a thing too, actually. So there you go. Who's the biggest goofball in the locker room?
Biggest goofball? There's a couple guys coming off my head. I would say Kyle Marsden. Yeah.
Fair enough. What's one thing that Mike always says to you on the bench?
Hit the net.
Fair enough. Where's your favorite place to be on the power play? I really like you in the bumper personally, but what's your favorite place?
Yeah, I would say most comfortable in the bumper.
Yeah, fair enough. What's your second favorite rink in the SJ?
Second favorite rink? I love playing in Humboldt. Those are always really good games, and they got really good fans there. And I'll say Estevan too.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
I get it.
What's the best game you remember watching as a fan in the Whitney?
I would say I couldn't tell you how old I was, but a guy on I think it was in the playoffs. Weyburn, Flin Flon, and guy
Mike Esker
stole the moose leg.
Oh, 2016.
You were in the building for that, Joey. I
was at that game.
Oh boy.
Yeah, that was
2016.
Yeah.
Good for you. That was a good.
That was an exciting one.
For sure. And then the last one is I want to ask you about chores, because for those that don't know, like you played minor hockey away, and then you went to Winnipeg. And played at a rink, and then now you're obviously home again. So I'll ask you about chores. What's the chore that you're like, oh, Mom, I don't want to do that one? And what's the chore that your parents are always bugging? We're always bugging Justin also, because obviously your big brother was a super player in the league too, and is doing well at Mount Royal. So what's your chore that you hate, and what's the chore that Justin hated?
I would say dishes. Definitely not my favorite. My sister's also here as well, due to like the Denair Beach situation. She's renting out her house for a family friend, but she's been helping out with some chores too, which is pretty nice.
Nice.
And Justin, I don't know. I'm in his room right now, and it's pretty neat in here, but I would say shoveling or dishes, same sort of thing.
Fair enough. Cool. Well, he was good, so
yeah,
whatever.
It worked out.
It was okay.
All right. Well, Joey, appreciate your time today, and best of luck going forward. Let's see how far this point streak can go for you guys, and we'll talk to you again down the road, I'm sure.
Yes, sir. Thank you guys very much for having me.
There we go. Man. Joey Lees, great chat. Just like his brother was. I remember we chatted with him was it last year or the year before? Good chat. Anyways, when we come back, we're going to announce Players of the Week and a couple other things. So stick around until after the break. And again, if you're watching on Facebook or YouTube, make sure you hit that like button, hit the share button, and send us some comments if you want for the third segment of the show. We'll see you after the break.
Feeling left out of can't-miss moments? RBC has programs and resources to help you open the door. RBC clients get access to concerts, Avion rewards, and exclusive benefits. Your idea of memorable moments happens here.
Each year, the SCSA issues over 10,000 training certificates to the construction professionals who build our province. That is the same population as Weyburn. Learn more at scsaonline.ca.
Ticket you buy funds programs all across Saskatchewan, like arts and culture. Buy your tickets today.
Introducing SaskTel Student Saving Tips. Tip number 138. You could build your own pallet furniture.
So you're living on your own. You can save money by building furniture with pallets.
Or get Infinite 150 for only $50 a month with SaskTel student deals.
16. Celebrate things done well.
Hey, welcome back in for segment 3 here of SJHL Weekly. Clark with Nugsy. Thank you to Joey Lees there for an awesome chat from the Flin Flon Bombers. Good things happening in Flin Flon. We had a feeling. We've been kind of hinting that it's going to come, but it's come now, and it's there's 7 games hot streak there. Nugsy, why don't we go ahead for Players of the Week? We'll rip into the cards pack. Players of the Week coming up. If you've watched on our social media channels, we just the announcement came out about 10 minutes ago on sjhl.ca. So if you wanted to check out the article over there, it's up and available. You can go to Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter. It's all up there now. But let's go into it. The SGE. Oh, I forgot to tell him. I was going to tell him. The SGU MVP of the week was Joey Lees. I forgot to tell him. I was thinking about it when you were doing rapid fire.
I forgot to remind you too. It's okay.
When we were doing rapid fire, I was going to end off the interview with...
Good effort, but still an L.
Yeah, thank you. I was going to say, hey, by the way, you won MVP of the week, but I forgot. Anyways, Joey Lees, 2 goals, 2 assists, 4 points in 2 games. Big performance there. Text him.
Well, yeah. He also won the RBC Community Ambassador for the league 2 years ago.
Yeah, so. Exactly. Yeah, he's a good kid.
For him.
Good kid. Borgo, forward of the week. A big week for the Warman Wolverines for Cade Kennedy. Cade is
a different person.
Different person.
Yeah.
Also a player in the SJ last year, but he had 4 goals this week. Kane Kennedy. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, is that Warman's first award for the season? Maybe.
I don't know. Maybe. Let's look that up.
So either way, congrats to Kane and congrats to the Wolverines. The Super U Defenseman of the Week, Bo Eisner of the Melfort Mustangs.
Noogstradamus.
Team Noogstradamus, 4 points in 2 games for Bo. And on the article on the website, Noogsy, you mentioned maybe this is a spark. Maybe Bo has lit a spark with the Melfort Mustangs, and maybe they're about to go on a big run of their own. Wouldn't be shocked. The SaskTel Goalie of the Week, he shut out the Melfort Mustangs, is Gage Roberts. 28 saves on Friday against the Melfort Mustangs in a 3-0 win, 1 shutout. And Gage Roberts continues to be widely regarded as one of the elite goaltenders in this league, Nugsy. The Sask Milk Rookie of the Week, we were at this game. Noah Sinagowitz at the shutout against Estevan earlier in the week. So shout out to Noah. And, you know, as the Melville Millionaires continue to try to figure out the pieces that they're going to go forward with, it's a pretty good statement for Noah Sinagowitz to put together a performance like that. And then the Cantera Seeds Saskatchewan Player of the Week. He's won this like 3 times already.
Some award or another.
Yeah, the Rylan Williams Award, it seems, is the Cantera Seeds Sask Player of the Week. 4 points, 3 games played. Obviously got shut out by Noah Sinagowitz on Tuesday, but then followed it up with a couple of good performances and really helped the Bruins get back on track after that loss on Tuesday with the weekend split in Kindersley. But
you got a Chumbawamba.
Yeah.
You get knocked down, you get back up again.
Yeah, you get back up again. Absolutely. Nugsy, let's anything on the Players of the Week before we move on and look ahead to the schedule for the next couple of days?
Yeah, I mean, it's always interesting. You see a guy like Kane Kennedy who scored so well in Junior B, in Nelson in the BC Junior B League, and you always say, hey, can he carry that over? But some guys just have the gift of goal scoring wherever they are. And that kid clearly has it. I know he's playing a lot with his good buddy, Riley Rich-Holden. I know they're best buddies.
Okay.
So, good to see him go and good to see Warman put some pucks in the net.
There you go, yeah. And you never know. Warman they've been building, they've been growing. So wouldn't be shocked. I think they have a couple of tough games this week. Why don't we have a look at who that's against? Let's have a look at Tuesday's upcoming schedule. So this is tomorrow, of course. Nipawin will be in Melville to take on the Millionaires. Flin Flon will be in Warman for game 1 of 2 back-to-back games in Warman. Larange against Weyburn. And then Kindersley will be in Humboldt for a big Nutrient Division battle. And then on Wednesday, Larange will go to Estevan, and Flin Flon stays in Warman for another big one on Wednesday night. We have Fridays as well. Larange is going to be in Estevan again, which is actually Nugsy.
Yeah.
The Canalta Hotels Spotlight game, Friday night Spotlight, Larange at Estevan. Just hang tight. I like that idea though. Melville, the big weekend coming up in the Highway 10 rivalry, Melville and Yorkton. I almost said 39. That's a different highway.
Yeah.
Humboldt and Battleford's taking each other on. That's a big one as well in the Nutrien division. And then the Melfort Mustangs and the Flin Flon Bombers. I mean, anytime they get together, it's always a good time. And then on Saturday, the same rematch against Battleford's Humboldt, same rematch Yorkton Melville. Obviously switching venues for Yorkton Melville. Warman, Nipawin, a big game there. Larange against Weyburn, and then Flin Flon against Melfort one more time. So a big week, I would say, coming up. But let's focus on Tuesday and Wednesday for now. What stands out for you? What are you looking forward to this week?
Yeah, no, I mean, obviously lots to like, but I think Kindersley and Humboldt have played each other about 74 times already this year, and it's been a barn burner every single time. Blaine Weiland was nice enough to have me on his call one of those 2 games, and it has just been overtime every time, shootout every time. Bloodbath every time, people upset about something every time. So, hey, get your tickets in that Nutrien division rivalry.
Yeah.
It's going to be tasty.
That's going to be really, really good. And if you haven't already, make sure you follow us on all of our social media channels. That's across the board: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube if you're watching on YouTube. If you're not watching on YouTube, go subscribe. Hit the subscribe button. It really matters. It helps us out a lot. And get your subscription, where am I? To Flow Hockey, right here. Get your subscription to Flow Hockey. And you can watch every single minute of every single game if you can't make it to the rinks. So make sure you do that. And one more thank you to our sponsors, of course, and that's going to start with Canterra Seeds, Capital Auto Mall, Canalta Hotels, SGEU, Sask Lotteries, UPL, who was the sponsor of all of our broadcasts, Nugsy, Chevrolet, Great Western, SaskTel, RBC, Saskatchewan Construction Safety Association, and Vaterstad. So, great show today, Nugs. Appreciate you. Jordan and Ryan in the back, shout out to you guys for doing a great job. Are you going to pop yourselves up? There you are. Hey, guys. Great job. Thank you for everything.
Hey, thanks for moving the cameras so I know where to look better.
The TV, we changed, you can't see it if you're watching the show, but we changed where the TV is. And I don't know if you pay attention enough to know, but Nugsy's always looking at the TV and not his camera. So we put the TV next to his camera, so he has to look at his camera. Now he has to look at his camera. So there you go. And so thank you to the guys in the back, of course. Thank you to Jacob Faith, who's hanging out over here. He's doing a great job. Brought us some hats today.
Great mustache,
Shout
Jacob.
out to the Sports Cage. I don't know if you can see this logo very good, but the Sports Cage, some hats for us with the SJHL logo on it. Looks awesome. So thank you to that. I don't know if you can see it. Oh man, Benny's gonna want one. Did we? Okay. Jacob.
He's on the Sports Cage.
We got you, Benny. Oh, he might even have one.
He probably already has one.
But anyways, some great stuff coming, and shout out to everybody else for tuning in and watching. And we'll see you on Thursday for SJHL Insider. And then Friday night, Spotlight for Canalta Hotels is coming. It's Larange at Estevan on Friday night. They play each other on Wednesday, so it's going to be heated because they just saw each other, and they play each other again, so it's going to be a lot of fun. So enjoy the hockey this week. It's a big week coming up. We'll see you on Thursday for everybody. Bye for now.